Welcome back to another Gear Guide video, everyone. This time we are focusing on the king himself, Black Panther. We're in Wakanda right now, so let's go ahead and explain to you guys what's involved in his technical power gear set. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what gear pieces you can obtain within that gear set. And with his technical power gear set, there's actually not another name for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just keep it as a technical power gear set and show you what exotic gear pieces you can get. We'll start off with the first one. This is the heroic piece right here. The heroic piece, you guys already know, can roll with either precision and valor, might, valor, and precision. Depending on what type of build you guys are going for, you want to make sure your heroic piece caters to that build. But this heroic piece is based off his assault heroic ability, which is called King's Mercy. So you can see 20% increase in stun status and all normal damage of King's Mercy. Vibranium King's Mercy using King's Mercy while overcharged deals increased damage and instantly triggers that Vibranium status effect on target's hit. And then you also have Kimoyo Beads Destruction. So enemies affected by Kimoyo Beads take 20% more status, stun, and critical damage. So that is a heroic slot, which is probably the best gear piece you can probably get out of this exotic gear set. But let's go ahead and move on to the defensive slot. Defensive slot can roll with Resolve Intensity and also Resilience. The reason I actually would recommend this piece as well to a new Black Panther user is the second and third perk are actually pretty good. Kimoyo Beads Extension extends the duration of Kimoyo Beads by 6 seconds, so it increases your support heroic ability duration by 6 seconds. And then with Black Panther, especially if you're using him as a melee build, he does have intrinsic melee attacks. So Overdrive, all actions that generate intrinsic energy will generate 20% additional energy. So this is a good defensive piece to have, especially if you are a new Black Panther. But preferably, you always want to make sure you go with the first one, depending on the build you're going with. If you're not going with the King's Mercy build, you definitely want to make sure you get the defensive slot. Now the range piece, Precision and Intensity. This can also come with Precision, Proficiency, and Intensity. I like this one because it actually has some couple of interesting perks. We'll go with the first one, Pounce Supercharge. Defeating an enemy with Pounce restores the Panther Cowl, intrinsic energy, heroic energy, and 5% willpower. That's actually beneficial to Black Panther's abilities, his health, and his intrinsic meter. And then obviously with the range and melee pieces, like I've mentioned in my previous videos, it can roll with different status effects. And in Black Panther in particular, it can also roll with different types of range attacks on his range slot. With his range slot, you preferably, if you're going with the melee build, you want to make sure this is Devastating Daggers and not Kapinga Daggers, just because Devastating Daggers can apply a debuff on your enemies, and when you hit them with about like 3 or more Devastating Daggers, they'll actually be debuffed for you to do more melee hits on them and actually get some increased damage on those hits. And also with Devastating Extension, because that does relate to the Devastating Daggers perk, increase the duration of the debuff from the Devastating Daggers by 3 seconds. So make sure the second perk always has Devastating Daggers, because the last perk will always be Devastating Extension. So that's the range piece. Moving on to the melee piece. The melee piece is actually pretty decent as well. We have Resilience, Might, and Proficiency. I like the first perk, Percussive Blast Destruction, 20% increased stun, status, and overall damage while Percussive Blast is active. This perk is actually available in the Discordant Sound raid gear as well, but it will actually have better stats on the Discordant Sound raid gear pieces, because this one has Might, Resilience, and Proficiency. If you get it from the raid with the first perk, Percussive Blast Destruction, those gear pieces can have Might and Valor and Precision. So that perk is a really good perk, but on that Discordant exotic set. And then the second perk, this can either come with signature attacks or power attacks. You guys already know power attacks is the pounce attacks. So I have here power attacks inflict gamma damage. I preferably, since I am currently working on a signature build, I'd rather have a signature attack perk on this. And then also with this particular melee piece, it also relates to Devastating Daggers, because you can see here as a third perk, Devastating Daggers Overdrive, dagger attacks on enemies, debuff from Devastating Daggers builds 1.5% Panther Cowl intrinsic energy for each dagger. So these two pieces together really helps, along with your defensive slot. So those are the exotic gear pieces from Black Panther's Technical Power gear set. Now the verdict on which one's the best, personally, I actually will probably recommend a couple of them. There's really not that main one that you should try and aim for. I'll go either with the defensive piece or the melee slot. And then if you want, you can go with the range piece as well. But this is, again, if you're a new Black Panther user. Obviously, if you're an advanced Black Panther user, you will have better gear pieces than what I'm showing you. And again, I'm just showing you guys what's available in the Technical Power exotic gear set for these type of heroes. So it doesn't mean you have to use them. It's just showing you guys what you can get within this gear set. Okay, now to show you guys where to get them. So you guys already know with the Technical Power gear set, you guys can get them from the weekly vault missions, especially the weekly elite vault missions. You have a chance to get a melee or range slot, plus a defense or heroic slot. And you can either get a legendary version or an exotic version. Or if you want, you can run the daily version. Sometimes it does give you a rare chance to get an exotic, but most of the time you will get a legendary from the daily vaults. Or you can wait for the Red Room Takeover event to come, and when you're completing the mission objectives, you can get an exotic version of those gear pieces I've just shown you. Or you can run the Last Avengers Standing mission, which is basically like 14 floors, and after you beat it, there is a rare chance you'll either get a legendary or an exotic Technical Power gear piece. So that's the video. That was Black Panther's Technical Power exotic gear set. If you guys do have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm out. You guys take care. Peace.